And in other two incidences, exaggerated language, he uses so much words and he tries to victimize himself. So, at the end, this research paper wants to say that unacknowledged and untreated trauma is a barrier to healing. If there is a trauma and which is left unacknowledged, it will lead to a barrier to healing. Thank you, everyone.
We'll next have Sneha Sheth.
Good afternoon, everyone. I am Sneha Sheth, and I would like to thank the organizers for giving me this opportunity to present my paper titled Portrayal of Illness in the Film Pa. Cinema plays a crucial role in shaping public understanding of health, disability, and illness. Films often use illness as a narrative device to evoke sympathy, moral introspection, and social critique. Illness narratives are essential because they help individuals and societies make sense of suffering by transforming physical pain into meaningful human stories. Arthur Frank's theory of illness narratives, especially in The Wounded Storyteller, highlights how storytelling becomes a tool through which patients reclaim identity and agency in the face of disease. Frank also identifies three main types of illness narratives: restitution, chaos, and quest. Restitution narrative focuses on recovery and the hope of medical cure. Chaos narrative expresses a sense of loss of control, confusion, and uncertainty during illness, whereas quest narrative portrays illness as a transformative journey that leads to personal insight and the formation of a new identity. In this, illness is not only suffering, but also a source of knowledge, transformation, and social meaning. Frank also argues that seriously ill people often need to become storytellers in order to reclaim voice and identity that illness may have fragmented. This perspective is particularly relevant in analyzing films where characters' identities are shaped through illness-related experiences and storytelling. Indian cinema serves as a powerful medium for addressing social issues. Focus studies are present on limited studies on the representation of rare diseases like progeria remains limited despite a wider scholarship on disability studies. The film Pa therefore fits within the broader trend of illness narrative in Indian cinema. The film aligns with the quest narrative structure where illness becomes a site of emotional growth and social connection rather than only suffering. By analyzing the film Pa, this research highlights how cinema constructs meaning around illness and shapes individual identity within broader socio-cultural context. This is the background. I just spoke about this slide. These are my research aims and questions: to investigate whether the film reinforces stereotypes or contributes to empathy and awareness, and also to highlight the role of cinema in constructing meaning around illness within broader socio-cultural context. This is the methodology that I have used. I have conducted a qualitative analysis of the film, and I have also applied Arthur Frank's wounded storyteller concept and categorized the film's structure, identifying it as a quest narrative. So this is the film that I have analyzed in this particular paper, Pa, which is a Hindi film produced and directed by R. Balki in the year 2009, and it stars Amitabh Bachchan as Oro, a 12-year-old boy who is suffering from a very rare disease called progeria, a rare genetic disorder which causes premature aging in children and adolescents. So Oro is shown as living in Lucknow with his mother Vidya, who is a gynecologist who has raised him as a single parent mother after the biological father refused to acknowledge the child out of the wedlock because he was very ambitious back then. Later on, it is shown that Oro's father becomes a very successful member of the parliament, and during a very brief meeting, there is an exchange between them and they become friends. Ultimately, Oro just serves as an emotional link between his parents as his condition worsens. And ultimately, the mother forgives the father, recognizing both his sincerity and Oro's wish for familial unity. So through the lens of illness narrative, in this particular film, Pa just becomes a kind of a narrative device to move the plot further. So it also reinforces the notion that cinema prioritizes emotional resolution even in the face of irreversible illness like progeria. The film also portrays illness as a site of emotional growth and social connection than just suffering. Also, it creates a very utopian social environment in which Oro is supported by healthcare professionals, his family, treated sensitively by his teachers, and mostly accepted by his classmates. So illness does not lead to any institutional or prejudice in the movie. Moreover, the movie also highlights the gendered nature of caregiving, wherein care is depicted as routine and embodied labor, which involves protecting Oro from the outside world. And paternal responsibility is presented as a choice rather than a duty. Humor is also used over here. Light-hearted dialogue and situational comedy is used as a therapeutic tool that humanizes the protagonist. This highlights how humor functions not merely as a coping strategy, but also a supportive tool which enhances the psychological well-being of the child. The film also focuses on individual acceptance, ignoring the class privilege required for such high-level medical care. Oro has access to medical care and specialized professional. Okay. Pa highlights illness as an emotional and a relational experience rather than focusing on the loopholes in the state. Also, it romanticizes the illness, and mostly we say that Pa